Remember when you were a child and saw a compilation of videos showing a locomotive crashing into trucks, rail cars, and other random objects? Have you ever taken a look at the locomotives used? Well, these are the FRA's test subjects of the 2000s. In 2009, a handful of videos showcasing train crash testing surfaced. They showcased locomotive collisions with several obstacles that a train could come across on the main line. They were recorded at the Transportation Technology Center in Pueblo, Colorado, which is owned by the FRA and the Department of Transportation. In the 2000s, videos showcasing crash testing surfaced on YouTube, which at the time was fairly new, and the locomotives used were, well, quite interesting to say the least. The locomotives used were an F40PH, an F40PHR, a C39-8, and two SD45T-2s. But wait, the SD45T-2s didn't look like that. There we go. Let's start with the F40PHs. DTFR 202 is an EMD F40PH built as Amtrak 202. It entered service in early 1976 and was in the Phase 2 scheme. It also wrecked in 1984 in Vermont, which kind of foreshadowed its future. In 1992, it was repainted into the Phase 3 scheme and rebuilt as an F40AC, which gave it AC traction motors, a car body extension, and a square fuel tank. This was done by Siemens Propulsion. If only Siemens still built locomotives like this. And by the mid-1990s, it had been retired. It was then sold to the FRA as DTFR 202 for crash testing at the Transportation Technology Center in Colorado, where it was painted in a full white scheme with a black top and black hatch lines on the nose. DTFR 234 is an EMD F40PHR built in July of 1977 and was painted in the Phase 2 scheme before being repainted into the Phase 3 scheme in the late 1980s. 234 operated with Amtrak until the mid-1990s when it was sold to the FRA and marked DTFR 234 and shipped to Pueblo, Colorado. It was painted in the same general style as 202, but the cab was fully painted in black hatch lines. DTFR 8640. 8640 was built as NS 8640 and was built in August of 1986 under order number 1864 NS. It was painted in the Thoroughbred scheme and operated until 2005 when the FRA had purchased it. Afterwards, 8640 was sent to NRE in Dixmoor, Illinois for conversion to a crash test dummy unit. It was supposed to be given a Dash 9 style wide cab, but I can't find any sources confirming this, neither did any of the videos show this. But here's a general concept of what it would look like with that cab. It was painted with the cab and radiator section fully white, while the long hood stated the original NS colors minus the logo. DTFR 2002. 2002 was originally built as an SD45T-2 in May of 1972 as SP9235. Sometime during its career with SP, it was rebuilt into an SD45T-2R and renumbered to 6808. And following the UP-SP merger, it was retired and sold to NRE, who was then tasked with converting it to a crash test dummy unit. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It was fitted with a cab similar to the EMD Whisper cab seen on SD70Ms and SD70 Max. It was painted into a full gray car body with a white cab. The nose was covered with black hatch lines. DTFR 2003. 2003 was originally built as an SD45T-2 in September of 1973, numbered SP9309. It was retired following the UP-SP merger in 1996 and was sold to NRE, who gave 2003 the same treatment as 2002 in the same place, Dixmoor, Illinois. In the early 2000s, several videos showed up on places like Train Orders and YouTube. These videos showed all four locomotives being used for crash testing. 202 and 234 were used for testing with all the new passenger rail equipment. On May 31st, 2009, a video was uploaded to YouTube by My Earbot. The video is titled Department of Transportation Amazing Train Crashes. It showed all units mentioned except the F40s being used for crash testing. The video primarily showed the DTFR SD45Ts colliding with several obstacles like semi-trucks carrying logs, steel coils, rail cars like loaded coal hoppers and piggyback flat cars, and covered hoppers, and a few suspended containers loaded with what looks like sand. The SD45Ts were seen doing most of the testing, with 8640 on the other hand only showed up in one video colliding with a coal hopper. Another thing about these units is that they are dummy units, meaning that they have no power, no prime movers, or no traction motors. So you're probably wondering, how did they even get to go so fast to collide? Well, they were launched by powered locomotives. Do you see this other unit moving behind one of the DTFRs? That's the power unit that launched it. Think of it like a hump yard in a way. After these crash tests, 2003 and the F-40s are still used, except 8640 and 2002. 2002 is missing as they can't find any information on it after the crash tests. And 2002 was used to crash into a semi-truck carrying a steel coil. The unit was occupied with a dummy that got absolutely eviscerated after the steel coil tore its nose and cab open. I'd assume that afterwards 2002 was probably salvaged, but I could be wrong. And as for 8640, I don't got nothing on that. If you know something, please tell me, that'd be pretty cool. And in October of 2024, 2003 was actually seen in a video crashing into a tank trailer as a test, and you can even see the locomotive behind it kicking it towards the crossing. The F40PHs are still stored at the TTCI, and 2003 is most likely still used from time to time. These locomotives, despite not being used for general mainline service, are a major reason that some people like me like trains today, all while making sure that trains continue to be safe. Thanks for watching and happy February.